Hey guys, this is Tom. Before we get into the podcast, I just wanted to thank everyone who's been super supportive over the past few days. I have kind of gone public with a lot of depression and self-doubt issues I've had. I tweeted some things. I recorded another audio piece for my other podcast, Russell Folks, and I wrote a long blog post about my depression and my self-doubt. And a lot of things I'm really not proud of, but I needed to get out of my mind and apparently through my fingers. I wanted to thank everyone who's read it, who's let me know that I'm not alone in this, and that there's a lot of us out there struggling with the same issues. It's easy when you suffer with depression, do you suffer from depression, to feel alone, like you're the only one. And you all have been very cool letting me know that it's not a label that I need to throw on my forehead, and that's the only thing I am. And B, that I have a lot of awesome people that I can fall back on. Whether I know them here locally or I know them across the world, or I don't know them at all. You are all awesome people, and I love you all dearly. But let's not be depressed. Let's have fun. Let's go. It's the Christmas episode. Let's go talk with Alex and, oh my God, the Christmas sweaters. Let's do this.
Whatever happened to predictability? Milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you. But you're lost out there and you're all alone. A light is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look.
Episode 31 of Everywhere You Look, the unofficial Full House podcast. My name's Thomas Green. You can find me on Twitter at NotThatTomGreen.
And I'm Alex Green, and you can find me on Twitter at TheAlexBGreen.
This week, for some damn reason, Danny decides to organize a family reunion in Colorado on Christmas Day. It's titled Our Very First Christmas Episode, and it sets a new level of just about everything you've come to expect from this program. Before we get into that, housekeeping up front as usual. First off, the song that you heard before we started talking, performed by the band Beat Radio. You can check out that song and the rest of their music at beatradio.bandcamp.com. Again, they have my highest recommendation. I was just listening to some of their music on my phone earlier today. They are one of my favorite bands, and I really, really, really hope that you all become fans of theirs if you have not done so already. Also, speaking of fans, we want you to be our fans permanently, full-time. iTunes can help with that. Every Tuesday, if you're subscribed on iTunes, the stuff just goes straight to your phone. You should go to tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast and subscribe to the podcast. And from there, if you'd be so inclined, please, please, please rate us 5 stars and write a short review. It helps get us up whatever algorithm/rankings system they have set up. I can't explain it, but it would really help us if you could rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Also, follow us, be our friends on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, at Full House Pod on Twitter. Everywhere else, it's Everywhere You Look Podcast. Facebook.com/Everywhere You Look Podcast and everywhereyoulookpodcast.tumblr.com. With that out of the way, let's jump up into the Wayback Machine and let you know what the heck was going on in this time in the world. December 16th, 1988, the premiere date of our very first Christmas show.
All I was really able to find were births. It made the LA Times that Tom Selleck's daughter was born that day. And actress Anna Popplewell, who is currently Lola on Reign, but was also Susan Pevensey in the Narnia movies, was also born.
Well, speaking of births, the number one film in America at this time, Twins, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito as twin sisters. Sassy, black, and proud of it. No, I've never seen twins, so that I'm just guessing. Also, Mike Tyson, heavyweight championship boxer, sued twice in the same week for sexual harassment.
Not Mike Tyson's best year, legally speaking.
Well, you could say that he was a predecessor to Black Men in Ugly, Ugly Sweaters. That's a Bill Cosby thing. See, when Tina Fey and Amy Poehler say it, everyone laughs. When I say it, people stop subscribing on iTunes. So I think we're good up front. I think we are. Let's jump into this mess, and it is a mess. This week's episode.
Well, I mean, the cold open is a mess, like with their whole, we're going to take a Christmas photo thing that does not go very well.
Yeah, this thing, okay, first off, I timed it, including the 10-second little boop-a-doop-a-doop graphic that they have before you see anything on the set. The whole thing was 24 seconds. So that means, I'd say maybe 14, 13 seconds at the most, and they felt the need to put this on. It was the shortest thing I've ever seen in my life. They cut to the living room where the whole family is wearing they're wearing ridiculous clothing.
They're being fancy.
Yeah, like DJ's wearing a pearl necklace. I think
like an actual one. Don't be pervy.
Why would DJ be wearing the other type of pearl?
Pervy people listen to the show.
I agree, but I would hope they aren't thinking, oh man, they're going to cut to the first shot of the episode and DJ's got jizz all over her chest.
I'm just clarifying.
But yeah, so they're all like dressed up nice, and Danny for some reason has a really high dollar camera because again, this family can just afford really nice things all the time, despite the fact that only one person in the house is bringing in any sort of steady income. Danny is making $1.2 million a day working as a morning talk show host in San Francisco.
You need to jump on that.
I am trying. Trust me. My resume, my demo tape goes out to San Francisco every day. Every stinking day. I try. But talking about jizz on people's chests doesn't help. This podcast is killing me. But no, so it's the old film camera where you have to set it, and then you have the timer, and then you have to run in front of it. Everybody. But apparently they only had like one frame of film because they set it, and then they all pose, and they're waiting for it, and then the phone rings, and they act like, oh no, if we don't get it in this one shot, we're not going to get it. So somebody grabs the phone, and they all run back, and miraculously, the picture is taken. That's it.
After they all say Christmas cheese.
I believe we spent 2.5 more minutes talking about it than it took them to actually do.
Oh, but one last thing that I might actually provide photo evidence of this, perhaps, if I feel so inclined. Michelle's dress is very similar to the dress I had for Christmas when I was 6. And I have a photo of me in that dress holding cupcakes.
Whereas I never wore a dress like that. I wore lots of dark sweaters, though.
You were more into organdy dresses as a child.
Yeah. My mommy liked dressing me like a fancy girl. Like a fancy girl. I was there parading my legs around as a little 7-year-old boy. Up on the stages, all the men tossing their dollars at me, saying, ha ha ha, through the cigar smoke.
So you were like Honey Boo Boo?
Not through the cigar smoke. It was the old saloons. The piano man played, and I did my little dance, and I lifted my dress, and hey, 30 minutes later, I provided for my whole family, all 17 kids. I was a good girl. They called me Toots. That was my stage name. I got away from them. When I was 16, I ran away. I ran with a handsome boy named Wayne. He protected me under his hat. He shot any man who dared look at me. And now I stand here, 1682, recording a podcast with my wife on a couch. That was a true story.
1682? Someone did not pay very good attention in history class, did they?
I lived it. It's a thing that I lived. I'm embarrassed now. So we jump to the first actual scene of the episode.
Hi, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all you viewers of Wake Up San Francisco. Well, I'm off to Colorado for the first annual Tanner family Christmas reunion. But through the magic of home video, you're gonna see it all, starting with our Christmas tree. Look, there it is. Unflocked and fire retardant. And of course, with the traditional smoke alarm angel on top. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you who?
You who?
You who?
Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. And you.
And you.
Thank you.
Oh, there's my brother-in-law, Jesse.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Guys, say something to the viewers who Wake Up San Francisco.
Hey, you there on the couch, dig those kooky pajamas. Jess, anything you want to say?
Just that Danny's only taping this vacation so he can write it off as a tax deduction.
Memo to me. Edit that out. Oh, careful, Jess. The red bag is full of the girls' Christmas presents.
Right.
Joey, remember to bring your Santa suit?
Danny? I am psyched. All week long, I've been working on my ho, 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 home on the range.
Danny has another camera. He has it's a 1989 camcorder, which is about the size of an actual E&G camera.
My granny and gramps had one that they used for several years into the 90s.
Yeah, like, I don't know why people would have even bothered, because I don't believe these things, like, shut out VHS, or VHS tapes. I almost said VCR tapes, and I would have gotten the venom of, like, every video geek out there. They don't think these things, like, you had to get like a converter, and these things were really heavy. I don't get why they had any, like, they claimed they were consumer grade when they really were overly complicated. They made no sense.
Oh, well, my grandparents' one did have the tapes inside.
Well, what was it, like, in 1989 did they get it? 1988?
I was very young when they had it. Like, they had it when I was that little, but I don't know exactly when they got it.
It's never made sense to me why anyone bothered with consumer grade cameras up until about 10 years ago. That's just a personal thing. But yeah, Danny's filming himself in front of the Christmas tree. Apparently the family is going to Colorado for a family reunion, and we later find out through everyone else's joking that to write off the trip as a tax write-off, Danny's going to film the whole thing and edit it together for Wake Up San Francisco as a fun little video piece.
It was also the fattest Christmas tree I have ever seen, and it's topped with a smoke alarm angel.
I'm pretty sure if all the Tanners held hands and stood around it, there would still be space for, like, another family. This thing was so thick. I'm going to stop saying things like that. Also, they have a smoke alarm on top of the tree. Like, were they afraid? Like, they've prayed before on this show. Are they afraid of, like, offending people? Like, oh man, the Jews are gonna get real mad that these people are Christians. I mean, fuck's sake, look at Bob Saget. I'm sorry. Look at the Aryan goddesses that are his daughters. These people are Christians. I don't buy that they're atheists for a second.
You don't have to have an angel on the tree, but they did. He said it was a smoke alarm angel.
Yeah, but it's reeked of, oh man, we need another joke, and we also can't let anyone know that these people worship Jesus Christ.
Our Christmas tree this year had a little tiny, like, trophy cup with Michael Stipe in it.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Like Simpsons
rad.
Michael Stipe.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. It was like the coolest thing.
Last year it was Antonio Cesaro.
Antonio Cesaro being a professional wrestler. I like stating that because not everyone that listens to this watches wrestling.
Bless you.
I'm having to tell you that. That's fun. Yeah, Antonio Cesaro, who's a giant Swiss professional wrestler who I enjoy watching on the professional wrestling.
And he keeps insisting that Swiss is a language, even though it's not.
That's his cross to bear. So Jesse and Joey come into the room carrying their bags and singing Christmas carols. Jesse's completely dropped any sort of tough guy act with this point. Like, last season, it was, oh man, Jesse, you're such a tough guy and you're wearing leather all the time. Literally, in this scene, Jesse comes in wearing a Christmas sweater. He's got his hair all nicely coiffed, singing and laughing and dancing.
Apparently, you can't be tough if you don't have a mullet.
No, but what I'm trying, he's not wearing, like, any leather. He's like one of those, like, background characters in, like, a Hanna-Barbera, like, Christmas cartoon. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, the Flintstones Christmas, where, like, they have to, I think one of them, like, goes, like, works at the Flintstone Mall, or Bedrock Mall, and you see all the characters in the background, like, bobbing their heads to Christmas carols. That's what Jesse reminded me of.
I saw that movie where the Jetsons ended up in Bedrock.
What? Huh? What? That's
You didn't see that?
No,
It was like a Jetsons Flintstones crossover.
No, when I was little, we had my mom had a Hanna-Barbera like Christmas compilation. So we had like, I think it was like a Jetsons Christmas, a Flintstones Christmas, and something else, because I remember watching the Flintstones one like a million times. And I wasn't like a big like cartoon fan, but we would always watch that because there was a scene where like they were trying to wrap like a Bronto ribs.
Yeah.
And it like made no sense. Also, you're gonna have to speak closer to the mic.
Right. Hanna-Barbera cartoons always make me think of Kings Island, because Kings Island, the amusement park in Cincinnati, the kids area when I was a kid was Hanna-Barbera Land. And so like all the rides were, like Scooby-Doo themed and things like that. And they had this really awesome Phantom of the Opera ride, but they turned it into like a Scooby-Doo Boo Blasters thing. But now they changed it all. Like they turned it into Nickelodeon, but now it's Snoopy because Cedar Fair bought them. So nothing's the same anymore. Like there's no Astro roaming the park. I got my picture taken with Astro when we went the first time.
Yeah.
I was very excited. I just got my first camera and I was taking pictures of everything.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say that I just got my first period, and I was so excited. I needed to get my picture taken with Astro to commemorate it.
I was 8. I didn't get my first period until I was 12.
The girls develop early these days. It's all the meat that you eat. All the meat. The processed meat in my mouth, and then I go to the breast buds. The Kathy Santoni's breast buds. That's the thing. That's a callback. I'm still wanting to open a fan club called Kathy Santoni's Breast Buds, and we can be breast buds all together.
That's so creepy.
So Joey's, they're all wearing Christmas sweaters, which is great because it's a full house and everyone always wears weird sweaters. But like Joey's is like next level weird. Like we couldn't even we literally stopped the show and paused it for a good minute and a half trying to figure out like what the heck was on the sweater, and we couldn't figure it out. Like, I'm gonna try to take a picture or a freeze frame, a screenshot, what have you. I'm lacking words to describe this thing.
Like, it kind of looked like an old-timey aviator and a flapper girl and like a milkman or something standing around like a 1920s Rolls Royce.
One of them looked like Mushmouth from Fat Albert if he lost a bunch of weight. But they're like all hanging around in like Jesus's motif or whatever, and just hanging out, having a good time.
It was weird.
It was weird. Also weird. At one point, Danny's like, "Oh, hey, Joey, did you bring the Santa suit?" And Joey's like, "Yes, I did." And he shakes a bag that just has a Santa suit in it, because Joey just owns a Christmas suit or a Santa suit. And B, he brings it with him places.
I'm kind of surprised you don't own a Santa suit.
Okay. So here's anecdote time with Tom. So my dad's side of the family usually does a Christmas get-together every year. We didn't this past year because we had a family member with health issues, and she usually hosts it. But normally, it's about 7:30, 8 o'clock into the evening. All the kids are hanging out. They're getting restless. And I hope none of them are listening to this. But my Uncle Greg would go to the house next door because my aunt lives in one house, and then her her son lives next door. It's Indiana for you. But there's two houses right next to each other. And my Uncle Greg would go to the house next door, put on the Santa suit, and come back as Santa Claus and give all the kids their first presents, let them sit on his lap, yada yada. We had a family Santa suit for this occasion. And I always thought that was weird, because I didn't know of any other families who did this. If you belong to a family who did this, please tweet at us or send us an email or something. Let us know. But no, one year I begged, I want to be Santa. I want to be Santa. Because I have a bit of a tummy on me, and I am a full-grown male at this point. So they're like, fine, you could be Santa. I'm like, yes, I get to perform in front of all these kids. So they send me next door, and I put on the suit, and normally my Uncle Greg has to put a pillow into the jacket, and I didn't have to. But I go into the house, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And I have the first couple kids come up on my lap. And then my niece Hannah, who is a little jerk, She notices my Chucks that I'm wearing, and we make eye contact, and I can tell she realizes who I am, like, at that moment. And then I get a kid up on my lap, and my Aunt Carla says something like, "Oh, Santa, all the reindeer must be tired." And I think I'm going to be awesome and smart, and I go, "Yeah, like Rudolph and Comet and Blitzen and Jupiter." And right then, the illusion died. Right there. All the kids' hearts were broken. Except for the babies. The babies didn't know what was going on, so...
Cliff notes, Tom doesn't know the names of the reindeer. He's no longer allowed to be Santa.
No, I have been banned from being Santa in my house, not my household, my family. But yeah, Joey has a creepy Santa suit, and Stephanie comes downstairs, "Oh, I don't want to go to Colorado." Why? Santa won't know where I am.
She did draw him a map, though, so he would know.
Yeah, because it's an adorable map. It's better than what I could draw.
It was like, here's Alaska, or the North Pole, or whatever, where you are. Here's San Francisco, where I'm supposed to be. Here's Colorado, where I'm actually going to be.
Yeah. And something I noticed specifically in this scene, I've been noticing a lot watching this show closer. You can always tell when one of the little kids goofs up a line, because they can't, like, do a million takes with the kids because they're only allowed to be on set for so long. So there'll just be an awkward cut to John Stamos giggling. Like, and then, like, the kid's volume, the level on the kid's mic or whatever, the boom, will get way louder. As if you could tell that they pulled her off stage or off the set and were like, "Hey, just read this off the script." And then they cut back to her. So they don't even bother shooting a second take. It's just, "Hey, Stamos, make sure we get a really tight shot of you giggling in case any of these kids goof up." And so we go to DJ with Michelle in Michelle's room. And DJ is a little "see you next Tuesday." She's like, "Hey, Michelle, sit down. I know where Dad's hiding all the presents. He got you lots of toys, and I got a CD player and stuff. Got skates." What the hell?
Okay, true story. Like, in our house, they would wrap the presents and put them under the tree, like, ahead of time. Like, and yet my dad would still write "from Santa" in his handwriting. So we always knew it wasn't Santa. But one year, my sister and I got really, really curious, and we opened up the presents that were under the tree and then carefully, taped them back up. Nobody found out. But I also got a CD player that year.
Good job.
I think that was the year after we went to Kings Island. So I was 8 then, yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Still not having your period yet.
No, my period did not come until we moved.
Well, good job. And then after you got the CD player, you called your friend and you were like, "Hey, did you get your period yet?" And listen, people, you have to listen to all the episodes.
Okay, that didn't happen until 4th grade. This was 2nd grade.
Listen.
Or 3rd grade.
All you people have to listen to all the back episodes to get references.
It was 3rd grade.
We are the community of podcasts. That's a thing I just made up. But yeah, that's literally it. There's a 30-second scene to fill time where DJ's like, "Hey, Michelle, I'm going to spoil Christmas for you. Here's all the stuff we got." That's it. So we go to the plane. I have so many issues with this scene. So many, as someone who recently flew on a plane for the very first time in his life, back in October.
And I didn't get to go with him, and it made me sad. I wanted to share his first flight with him.
That's Alex's thing, is she takes plane virginities.
I do.
Yeah,
Although, to be fair, when I took Seth's, it was also my first flight.
Who's Seth? Tell them who Seth is.
My friend Seth. We went to Haiti together.
Yeah, Alex has been to Haiti, by the way. That's just a thing we forgot to mention, is Alex has been to Haiti on a mission.
Yes, I was on a mission trip.
Yeah, so we might talk about that when the Tanners go to the Bahamas or something, or Hawaii. We'll just casually bring it up again. But no, this plane. So everyone's loading in on the plane. First off, I don't know if it was just the plane that I was on, JetBlue going from Chicago to New York, but my plane did not have seats nearly this big. It's like everyone had a couch to themselves. Giant seats. Everyone had room to wiggle around and giant armrests, and everything was cushioned. And at first I thought, oh, they're all in first class.
Nope.
And then later, nope, it's definitely crap class.
Well, I do kind of think that they might have, obviously, I don't know what airplanes were actually like in the 80s, and I didn't take my first flight until gosh, think I was 20 when I went, 20 or 21, so 6-7 years ago, something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if like the quality of like planes has decreased.
I love that everything in the world has gotten better since the 80s except for airplanes. Like we can listen to music on our phones. There are cars that can drive themselves.
Well, like a lot of quality has gone downhill since then because people don't care as much about, things. Like they care more about the money. And so if you make the seats smaller, you can put more seats in and fill more seats and have people have to pay extra if they're fat and things like that.
There are cars that drive themselves. Why can't we have decent seats on planes? There are cars that drive themselves.
Because that doesn't help the bottom line. If you want the decent seats, you have to fork over the cash for business class or first class, which helps the bottom line.
But see, if this episode is accurate, which there's no way it is, but if it were, first class apparently had fucking lobster and ice cream and a birthday cake, which we'll get to in a second.
This is America. All anyone cares about is money.
And food.
Well, that too.
Well, see, and they had better food up front. It took me until this point to figure out they were going to a family reunion on Christmas. It took me about 5 minutes into the episode to figure out.
Well, they had mentioned it, but it was so fast that I couldn't really tell what they were saying at first.
Yeah, that's the thing is, Full House, it's weird. Full House is like, at times it's like the dumbest, most lowest common denominator show, and then other times it's like this is like it's like the West Wing, or this is gonna be a weird comparison, everyone. Like Dawson's Creek, everyone's talking so fast, like everyone's like, blah, 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 Colorado, blah, 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 blah. Like they're talking so fast and you can't pick up on things. Whereas other times they should just put up captions on the screen saying Michelle pooped. Like. There's never any consistency. I would like to grill Jeff Franklin sometime. That's a thing. That should be our final episode. We should tie Jeff Franklin in a chair and have him and take him to task for all these things.
You've seen Christmas Vacation too many times.
I've seen it 3 times.
Ever?
Yeah.
I feel like we've watched it more times than that.
No, the first time we watched it together was last Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it for like 10 years before that, so that's why it was so important to me. I made a big deal this past Christmas out of buying the Blu-ray, or at least getting to see it. Not the TV version, because the TV version edits out all the cuss words.
And Tom has to have the cuss words.
But it's vital for the scene where Clark breaks down.
Well, it's vital for your life, too, Mr. I curse at everyone all the time.
I'm trying not to because, we're going to have a kid someday. And I don't want that kid cussing until he's like 13. And because that's when all kids cuss. I'm sorry, parents. All your kids are going to cuss at 13.
I was 11.
I was a lesbian.
But I only cussed at school.
Dude, okay, fun story, getting completely sidetracked. I was only ever grounded once in my entire home life.
That must have been nice.
I was grounded for 1 day because my mom she couldn't enforce it. She got tired of enforcing it because the punishment was no TV. As Alex sneezes.
Sorry.
The punishment was no TV and no electronics. And as Alex sneezes again.
Sorry.
Stinking interrupting my rant. I was 12 years old, 4th of July, we're walking back from the fireworks. And between South Park and pro wrestling, I had just learned what the middle finger was. I didn't know what it meant. I just thought it was like a cool thing that cool people did on TV. So I would just flip off everybody. I kind of knew it was a bad thing, so I did it behind my parents' back. But I would just flip off everybody, like, a little bit of that magic over there. And there were these bikers that drove by us as we were walking back from fireworks to my house. And I flipped them the double bird. I was like, I'm cool. And they turned around, and they were like, ma'am, your son's effing flipping us off. What are you going to do about it? Like, they were super polite to my mom, but they kind of wanted to fight me at 12 years old. And my mom's like...
Well, to be fair, you were the size of a full-grown man.
I was gigantic. I was 6 foot tall when I was 10, but it was ridiculous. I haven't grown since then. But they were super polite to my mom. My mom's like, were you flipping them off? And I was like, no, I was doing this, and then I flipped my mom off. Because I didn't know what flipping someone off was. And she's like, you get your butt in the house right now, Tommy. Right now. And then she explained to me what flipping someone off was. kind of like the time I loved Revenge of the Nerds when I was little.
Yeah.
And I loved Takeshi or the Asian fella. And there's the scene where they're all at, they take the picture, they do the panty raid, and they take the pictures of the girls in the shower. And Takashi keeps repeating, "Happy." I'm not even going to do the voice. It's super racist. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. But I'm like 11, and I come downstairs, and my mom's like, "What do you want for lunch?" And I yell, "Hair pie. I would like some hair pie." And my mom didn't know what it meant. And one of my sisters is like, "No." So that's a thing.
It wouldn't have happened to have been the sister who's lesbian when it's convenient for her, would it?
No. No, she just kind of laughed. She thought it was hilarious. Let's get back to Full House, because people are probably bored.
Well, they make the mistake of announcing to everyone this is Michelle's first flight, and the entire plane groans collectively.
Yeah, see, here's the thing about the Tanners that we'll figure out by the end of this. They aren't aware that anyone else's, like, lives matter. Like, they announced to everyone on the plane that it's Michelle's first flight. They take command. It's only their Christmas matters. It's ridiculous.
I don't get why everybody was so upset. Like, Michelle's not like a little baby. Like, she's old enough to be quiet.
Also, I didn't get why everyone was wearing so many coats on the plane. Everyone wore, like, 3 coats.
That's a good question.
Also, Mom and Dad Katsopolis were on the plane, because apparently it was Jesse and Pam's side that were reuniting.
But the weird thing is that Danny said, like, it was, like, his family, but I don't know if he just invited them because he felt bad for them or what.
What if all the Tanners are dead? What if he killed them all? What if Granny Tanny died?
Granny Tanny comes back, though, doesn't she?
She's a zombie. A zombie grandma who comes back from the dead.
But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Grandma and Grandpa Katsopolis are just there to pester Uncle Jesse as to why he is not yet married. Because apparently he is a spinster in, like, Edwardian England.
Okay, so here's I've been very hard on myself past few years for being too old to do things. Jesse is established as 25 years old at this point, I believe.
Ish.
Yeah, and his parents are like freaking out that he's not married yet.
Well, to be fair, we were married pretty young, but there are a lot of people we know who aren't married yet who are even older than us. Like, it's totally normal to like still be single in your mid-20s.
These damn Greeks. And then, but guess who shows up out of nowhere?
Becky Donaldson!
Danny and Becky apparently never discussed on work that, oh, hey, I'm flying to Nebraska, too, and I might be on the same flight as you.
Yeah, she's got to switch planes in Denver, so she's taking their flight until she can get there.
But yeah, they're like, oh, my goodness, why are you on this plane? Why are you on this plane? We never discussed going anywhere because it's not like we work together 5 days a week.
Becky also backs up the notion that Danny's just doing this for the tax write-off.
And then, and they just keep getting out of their seats to have conversations. Like, as someone who's flown plenty of times, would you be tolerant of any of this? Like, people just getting up out of their seats to, like, do shtick and
It would be irritating.
Yeah, these assholes. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cuss. I swear I'm trying not to cuss. I'm saving it for the cuss list later because we got somebody to cuss out. But yeah, it's frustrating. It'd be frustrating.
Well, and then some guy who I keep referring to as Angry Man in my notes comes in.
I wrote down old pervert.
And he starts screaming at DJ because she's in his seat. And she's like, no, my ticket says 1B. And he's like, my ticket says 1B. And then Danny's like, hey, mine too. And here's what I don't get. Okay, it sucks that the airline triple booked this one seat, which is weird to begin with. But I'm sure at one point Danny had all the tickets for everyone in his family. Why did he not see that 2 of the tickets for that family were for the same seat?
He apparently didn't even know they were flying, judging by how Becky reacted. Like, I didn't note that, but yeah, that's a really good point. You would think that you would look at the tickets and, like, oh, well, these 2 are exactly the same. Did they just give me 2 tickets? Yeah. What's going on? Well, no, they triple sold a seat because they're a great airline.
And Angry Man is all like, I will have this seat. I booked it 3 months ago. And because of that, Stephanie and DJ get to go to first class.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we have a seat in first class.
They had 2.
Oh, well, either the guy's like, oh, I want to go to first class. And the lady is like, no, You sit down, mister.
Oh, also in first class is Becky rolling in the dough Donaldson.
Yeah, like, she has just moved to fucking California.
And she comes from, like, farmers, which there are farmers who have a lot of money, but I'm guessing from the way she describes her family that her family's not that kind of farmer.
Whereas Danny, like we've discussed, makes $1.2 million per episode of his talk show.
Buku bucks.
But he's stuck in commercial. Look, but I'm kind of glad they didn't give the old guy the seat, though, because if they would have, it would have been that old guy and, like, Stephanie. And I'm not sure I would have trusted that guy near any child. Like, he looked like the type that would be like, hey, little girl, I dropped some ice cream in my lap. Could you grab it, please?
Well, did you not understand what they allude to at the end of the episode?
That he's Santa?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And I've got, oh my, that's weird. So yeah, here's what I'm wondering. You saw how big the seats were in commercial.
Yeah.
How fucking big must the seats be in first class?
Everyone gets their own full-sized bed.
Yeah, I'm thinking they all get, like, king-size beds. And they get, like, maids and massages.
Or it's all, like, one giant bed, and they all just, like, lounge together and are fed lobster.
Are they flying on Lennon Ono Airlines? Everyone just sleeps in the one big bed together to protest Vietnam?
Maybe.
So we go flash forward to like an hour later, and everyone's just eating, and
And
it's
DJ and Stephanie are like, lobster and ice cream, lobster and ice cream.
who the hell just let these kids run around the plane? They just decide to walk. Okay, if I'm in first class and it's so damn good, I wouldn't go back.
And Becky's like, girls, they're about to cut the birthday cake.
Yeah, the pilot. Okay. Okay, so the pilot, who is the guy flying this plane 10,000 feet above the sky, or above the ground.
He's not alone. He's got a co-pilot.
Well, either way, I wouldn't want him getting up to eat birthday cake. That's what you do on the ground, where it's safe.
Like, if it's a long flight, like, they're gonna have to, like, pee and eat and stuff eventually.
But this guy's probably going to take like an hour to eat birthday cake. He seems selfish. If he's taking time out of his flight to eat birthday cake, he's probably selfish. And Stephanie and DJ come up wearing lobster bibs, and because they got ice cream sundaes and a birthday cake, and it's all like, oh, LOL, plane food's bad. I had Doritos on a plane, and they were okay. They give me a little bag. Like, literally, it had 4 chips in a bag. The free complimentary food.
On most of my flights, we didn't get snacks. I've flown from Chicago to Miami, Miami to Port-au-Prince, Port-au-Prince to Miami, Miami to Chicago, and then Indianapolis to Dallas to Houston, and then Houston to Dallas to Indianapolis.
And they didn't offer you food?
The only flights that we had snacks on were from Miami to Port-au-Prince, even though it was the shortest flight I had other than the Dallas-Houston ones, only because it was an international flight.
That's insane.
And we had crackers and, like, Swiss cheese spread, like the Laughing Cow kind of stuff. Raisins, which I didn't eat because raisins are gross. And little tiny Toblerones. They were so cute.
So what you're saying is prisoners get treated better than people who fly across the country.
Well, like, Chicago to Miami was only a couple hours. You know,
Still.
they gave us a drink.
Well, that's great. They should give you all the drinks. You should have gotten shit-faced on the plane.
Well, they didn't give us alcohol. You had to pay extra for that. And plus, I was on a mission trip.
Mission trip. Every trip is a mission trip when you want to get plastered.
And again, I think I had just turned 21. I just turned 21.
So, Jesse's dad is like, hey, Jesse, you should go fuck Becky. And Jesse's like, I don't know. She doesn't like me, Dad. I'm so
I've
nervous.
been trying since we met.
Yeah, like, I've said before I'm on board with the Jesse is a virgin thing. I am 1,000% on board now. Like, even if he were, like, really in love with this girl more than any other girl he ever slept with, he'd have some confidence. He's like, no, I'm gonna chew on my fingernails. I don't know what to do, Dad. Help.
Well, maybe it's just because she's so sophisticated and big city.
Yeah. What? That's no. What else is making me angry? This asshole Danny Tanner just gets up and starts shooting video again.
Oh, but it was funny, though. He wants to film Michelle, and Michelle thinks Angry Man's hair is a kitty, and she pets it, and it's really a toupee, and then he has a meltdown because she yanks his toupee off.
This old asshole makes Michelle cry.
Because she rips off his hair, and she starts to cry.
He goes, Like, I would love to see a copy of the script, because I guarantee you he didn't have a line. It's just this old man, and then in parentheses, barks. And he goes, and she starts crying. And they had to set up that scene to where Michelle would actually have to cry, or an Olsen would have to cry. That's traumatizing.
Probably, unless they had someone fake it again or something.
This sounded like a real cry. Because trust me,
maybe they recorded them actually crying and dubbed it over or something.
They don't do that very well.
But then Jesse's like, "It's okay, Michelle. We'll sing your favorite lullaby, which is the girl from Ipanema." And then he makes everyone else on the plane start singing it with him.
Seriously, I would have asked for my money back at this point. Like, this is insane.
Like, it just kept reminding me of in the Very Brady sequel when they're all on the plane singing that good time music song and dancing, and they have to be told to sit down and shut up.
Yeah, these are the worst. And it was kind of played for laughs that they were making everyone do it, but not really. Most of this stuff's just sociopathic behavior of the worst degree. It was horrifying.
Well, and then to make everyone's flight even worse, the flight attendant comes in and says that there's a terrible snowstorm in the Rockies, so they're going to have to make an unexpected landing, and they end up getting stuck at this little Podunk airport overnight. And Stephanie wants to riot.
Stephanie wants to kill herself. So we go to what they never even said where they landed.
No, we have no clue where they are. Somewhere with snow.
This could be just some rich dude's house that looks like an airport. Stephanie jumps on a payphone.
Maybe they're in Utah.
Possibly. They still should have said it. Oh, hey, we landed in Indiana because we're stupid pilots who are eating cake instead of flying the plane. They probably just overshot Denver, completely, because they were too busy eating birthday cake instead of doing their jobs, which they could be risking hundreds of lives. And the Tanners don't care about any of those people anyway. Stephanie's trying to call Santa on a payphone, and I'm thinking, little kids who watch this show on Nick at Night or TBS now, they don't know what the hell she's doing.
They don't know what a payphone is.
No, exactly. This must be so lost on kids these days.
They must be very confused when they hear that Maroon 5 song.
Yeah. So then the dickhead old pervert dude walks up. He's like, "Hey, are you sitting here?" I'm Andre the Giant.
And they're like, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, then I'm not sitting here." And I'm sure everyone was like, "Thank God."
On one hand, that's kind of a dick thing to do. "Hey, are you sitting here?" "Yeah." "Well, then fuck you. I'm not sitting here." But on the other hand...
They're kind of awful.
They're the worst. They're kind of all tied for literally the worst at this point. Nick Katsopolis is like, Go fuck her, Jesse. Go fuck Becky.
He's like, "Hey, she's sad. You need to go console her."
Yeah. We find out that the Katsopolis family was put together the day that Elvis was drafted.
Yes.
That's a really weird reference to expect a laugh out of. A, it's kind of old, and B, it wasn't really that good of a joke. I think
maybe
weird.
it was supposed to help establish Jesse's Elvis obsession as being genetic or something.
Genetic. So our kids are gonna like the Jonas Brothers.
I'm not obsessed with the Jonas Brothers. I've seen them in concert several times, but they're not my favorite.
They are your favorite.
They are not my favorite. Weezer is my favorite.
So Jesse goes over. He's like, "Hey, Becky, pep talk, pep talk, pep talk." And then, okay, weirdest line by far, history of the show thus far. He just slips it, and they don't play it up for laughs. He says it really fast, and then they go on to the next line.
It's kind of creepy.
And I quote, "I think my parents would like to think of you as part of my family." Just out of nowhere. What a fucking creep.
Well, she was all homesick, but it was still very, very weird.
She doesn't know his family.
You're not even dating. Keep it in your pants, Jesse.
She leaves to go call a cow, because that literally, she's like, "Oh, I miss my cow. I'm going to go call
Janice.
her." And then the airline's like, Danny and Joey are like, "Oh, where are the presents?" And
they're not there.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because airlines suck. And then DJ goes over to Stephanie. She's like, hey, Santa's going to find the presents, I promise. All the 10 seconds.
And she's like, you're going to get your skates. And then she tells Danny as she said that. And he's like, but the presents are gone. And she's like, you've ruined Christmas. This is the worst Christmas ever.
Well, Danny and Joey only took 10 seconds to go look for those presents. And judging by the blocking of the scene, they didn't move. They just kind of looked around them. Oh, no presents here.
Oh, DJ also tells Stephanie that Santa will find them because Rudolph's nose has radar. And then Danny's like, well...
DJ invented GPS.
The snowstorm is too bad. The radar won't work.
No, we need to stop. DJ Tanner invented GPS in this moment. That's weird.
Well, she did get into Stanford.
It's right, she did, because she's something or other. I'm lost in my notes. Stephanie's a little brat. Oh, I'm not gonna get my presents. I'm bullwinkle.
Well, Joey gets an idea, and he ends up coming in dressed as Santa Claus. And Stephanie's all like, oh, Santa, you found me.
Well, wait, we skipped over a whole thing where DJ acts like a little bitch over the presents, too.
Well, I mentioned that. I said she ran off upset because...
Well, these kids, they are the worst kids.
All little kids care about is presents at Christmas.
But DJ is supposed to be like the voice of reason or whatever, and she...
Yeah, but at Christmas, the voice of reason kind of goes out the window.
Yeah. But, and the way that Joey figures out the whole Santa suit thing is Grandma Katsopolis, who barely knows Joey, picks up one of his bags and shakes it at him. Like a fucking dog. Here, Joey, here, boo-boo.
It does jingle.
Yeah. So, Michelle is sitting there, she's trying to accost the old man again. And then Joey comes dressed up as Santa. They're in an airport, probably full of hundreds of people, and Joey just walked through the damn thing of Santa Claus. There are gonna be little kids running up to him.
Well,
Santa,
it seemed like they were the only kids on the flight.
Yeah, that was weird. Because maybe it's because, parents don't want their kids in the sky at Christmas.
Say it, don't spray it, bucko.
Listen, I will spit on anyone I want. Yeah, so Joey's like, oh, ho, ho, Merry Christmas. And he has like a southern accent, though. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. He's like an old prospector.
I did not notice this.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like that, but it wasn't that thick, but it was...
But Stephanie was very excited that Santa knew her name, and he starts talking to her, and then Grandma brings Michelle over, and Michelle's like, ho, 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 Joey. And Stephanie's like, that's not Joey, Michelle. Stop being so stupid. That's Santa. See? And she pulls his beard, and it comes off.
Stephanie has fucking brain damage. We've established this before. But when the baby is smarter than she is, the baby's figuring out things that she can't.
Well, to be fair, Hannah Jo was probably one of the youngest kids there when she figured out that it was you.
No, she was in the middle. She was in the middle, and she doesn't like
Well, there aren't a whole lot of kids younger than her.
Not unlike my immediate family, but on my dad's side.
Like, even when we've been there are like 2 who are younger than her.
Not then. There were a bunch more. Because, see, people get divorces in my family, and kids go away. Yeah. So that's a thing. So everyone in my family...
That's happened in my family, too.
Everyone in our families get divorced because marriage is very hard. Hey!
The number of cousins in my family changes often.
I thought you were going to give away, like, a helpline. Like, the number to call if your family has lots of divorces is... but yeah, Stephanie also reveals that Danny is so OCD about fixing their beds that at, 7 years old or 6 years old or whatever, she's been trained to do hospital corners.
Yes.
She tells Santa, hey, I know how to do hospital quarters. I'm good. And it, literally could not be more obvious that it's Joey. Yeah, Stephanie pulls the beard, and then she's traumatized, and rightfully so. It's just been revealed Santa's fake.
And then everybody's just upset, and all DJ cares about is the presents. And then as everyone's just sitting there being all bummed out.
No, see, Joey's bummed out because he's like, oh, I broke Stephanie's heart. He did nothing wrong, except for walking through a full airport dressed as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. That's weird, and it's creepy. And what if he got a line with a bunch of different kids, and hundreds of kids on Christmas Eve found out Santa wasn't real because Joey wanted to pull this stunt. So yeah, he kind of did something wrong, but not the thing that he did wrong. Nothing on this show makes sense. So, yeah, everyone's like, oh, I don't have presents. I'm stupid because I arranged a family reunion on Christmas Day in Denver.
Jesse suddenly gets hit with the Christmas spirit.
Oh my god, this is like the pep talk of pep talks. Like, I wanted to go play like the Christmas Super Bowl after hearing this.
He was like, what do you see when you look at this? And you just like a coat rack.
You skipped the best line. He goes, what do you guys got a problem with? Huh? The first Christmas was in a fucking manger. He didn't say fucking, but he said, and I quote, they did the first Christmas in a manger, and that was okay.
Yeah. I wrote down that he chastises everyone for being douches when Christmas is really in your heart.
Like, I'm gonna throw in the clip right about now.
What's the matter with you people? First Christmas was in a manger. They did okay. I mean, so what if we're stuck in this crummy dump? Christmas isn't about presents or Santa Claus or cows. It's about a feeling. It's about people. It's about us forgetting about our problems and reaching out to help other people. Christmas doesn't have to happen in one certain place. It happens in our hearts. So if you think about it, we could have Christmas anywhere. I mean, even in a baggage claim. DJ, what do you see right there?
A coat rack.
No. I see a big, beautiful Christmas tree. Joseph, what do you see back there?
Vending machines.
No. I see a Christmas dinner with all the trimmings. Pop, what do you see back there?
Conveyor belt.
No. I see... Okay, yes, that's a conveyor belt. But the point I'm trying to make here is that we could give these kids the best darn Christmas they ever had. And you know why? Because outside the snow is falling. And friends are calling you who? Come on. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you who?
You who?
Yo ho!
And now it's lovely weather for sleigh riding.
See, wasn't that like the best pep talk ever? Like, Stamos should have been like a coach somewhere.
A coat
Christmas
rack
coach.
can be a Christmas tree. A vending machine is Christmas dinner with all the trimmings.
All the trimmings.
Which
Does anyone
confuses me.
Does anyone say that anymore? Like, here's Christmas dinner with all the trimmings. Like, no, it's just like, here's a fucking turkey, here's some mashed potatoes. What is the trimming?
I would say that. I don't know.
What-
It's like the sides, like the things that go with them. You know, like the cranberry
trimming?
sauce and the
That's not
stuffing and
like a trimming is like the outer edge, I would think. Like, oh, we're gonna put mashed potatoes all around
no,
the
it's,
turkey.
the trimmings are the fixins, dude.
The fixins.
Like when you have hamburgers and you have all the fixins, you've got like lettuce and tomato and onion, maybe peppers, pickles, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, etc.
That's not trimming.
It's fixins.
Fixins.
Shut up.
Fixins. Hey everybody, my name's Alex. I'm from Middletown, and I just love the fixins.
Leave me alone. I only love the lettuce and the tomato and the onion.
But yeah, still. I dare anyone to listen to that Jesse Katsopolis Christmas speech and not just want to celebrate Christmas.
I always want to celebrate Christmas all the time.
Like, see, and I'm not like, I like Christmas, but I'm like, whatever about like putting up the tree. And all
Yeah,
that.
he didn't help me with the tree at all, like in 2013, but he helped me this year because he felt bad since my grandma died.
I want to do Christmas better. Don't make me sound that bad. Come on.
Well, to be fair, no, like you are kind of bad about it generally, because
I mean, I am bad about it, but I want to be better.
because all the things that I like to do, you're like, it's only fun with kids.
I mean, you have a point. But what I was trying to say is, if you want me to be better at Christmas, play me that speech. Before
Okay,
Christmas.
I will do that.
Like, I wanted to do Christmas right there in that moment. Damn it, the first Christmas was on a manger.
We're gonna go get a real tree next year.
I don't know.
We are.
Jesse ends up leading everyone on the flight and singing Christmas carols.
They sing Sleigh Ride, which is the song they sang at the beginning, too. That's the only song they sing in this episode that's not the girl from Ipanema.
Well, I'm just thinking, if he would have done this in 2015, he would have been shot or tackled by Paul Rudd.
I would have participated.
Yeah, like TSA would have been like beating him with a stick. You're a terrorist. You're leading everyone in a charge. You're gonna kill the
Well,
pilot.
it seemed like there weren't any, like, workers at that airport. Like, it looked like it was just the passengers. Like, there were no security officers or, like, desk attendants or anything.
What if the pilots were flying away with the cake? Like, it's like, yeah, they could have gotten to Denver.
They're like, hey, let's go celebrate your birthday in Vegas.
Yeah, like they just wanted the cake, but people wouldn't stop eating the cake. So they're like, oh, it's too foggy, it's too snowy, we're gonna land you all, and then they fly away and eat cake.
But Stephanie is still not convinced and just stands there with her arms folded looking hella pissed.
She's a little brat. So everyone, we cut to like 5. Was it 5 in the morning?
I don't know. It was dark out.
Yeah, it was dark out,
and everyone was asleep except for Michelle. Like, why is nobody keeping an eye on this baby? Why was she not, like, wedged in between people so she couldn't, like, run around?
No, everyone needed their sleep, damn it. And there was no time to take care of this kid.
And Danny apparently decided he needed to sleep on the baggage carousel, which ended up being a big mistake when Michelle pushes the button to send him out. Because I guess at this airport, the baggage carousel, like, goes from inside to outside on a loop.
And it doesn't make any noise because he just stayed asleep.
Well, she ends up waking Jesse up, and then Jesse decides that he needs to wake up everyone else in the airport.
Yeah,
like a douche.
Yeah, like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure.
Wake up! It's Christmas!
Like, I'm sure they didn't get to sleep until, like, 1 or 2 at least, because they're probably all stressed out over this
and
whole
singing
thing.
Sleigh Ride.
Yeah. So DJ gets up, and apparently she fell asleep before they put up the tree.
She's like, it looks like Christmas. Good job.
Yeah. Danny is conveyed back in. He's covered in snow. I'm thinking he would die of hypothermia if this were real. But no, they're just going to let him sit there covered in snow. It's like the worst blizzard.
Well, nobody seems to notice that he's there.
No, it's like the worst blizzard in the history of the Rockies, they made it sound like. But nobody cares that Danny just, like, was, like, sent out in a, like, t-shirt.
Yeah, instead, Grandpa Katsopolis is all like, hey, Jesse, go hit that. She's waiting to be kissed. Look at her.
No, the line is, first off, hashtag yes all women. Nick Katsopolis, what do you see over there? I see a woman waiting to be kissed. To which I typed, rape, 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 rape. Like, that's the most horrifying thing.
And he's like, us Katsopolis men are known for 2 things, our kissing and our great hair. And they both run their hands through their hair together.
Like, I'm not a woman, despite what people think. But...
He's not, I assure you.
Like, as a woman, hearing that, you should have been a little horrified.
Oh, I was.
Like, that's so bored. That's bad.
Like, okay, like... It's one thing if I'm interested in you, like, I would be okay with you kissing me. But if I've repeatedly shot you down multiple times, I don't want you to come over and kiss me when I'm trying to get coffee from the vending machine.
Also, the quote, I see a woman waiting to be kissed, that is the TV PG version of, yeah, she was asking for it. She had a low-cut shirt.
It is.
Like, that's bad. It's very, 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 very bad.
But it works.
It works. And that's the fucking works.
She's all like, if I can't be with my family, I'm glad I'm spending it with your family.
And then she's all like sexy about it.
And he's like, hey, we're under the mistletoe. I need to kiss you.
Yeah, and they like pretty much like the PG fuck.
Like when they separate, she looks dazed and like it has like awoken something inside of her she didn't know existed.
So, guys, if you see a woman out there waiting to be kissed, just fucking grab her. God's sakes.
Don't actually do that. He was being sarcastic.
Fuck. And then some, like, pound it home. The pound it home that, oh, man, this rape is awesome. Some old woman comes over and makes out with Jesse, too.
And Becky was all like, oh, I can't wait to do that again. Next year, and runs away.
Oh, and we left it a detail. During the rape kiss, the Katsopolis parents are, like, rooting them on. Like,
yes,
it's like,
Jesse looks over at them, and they're, like, nodding and, like, encouraging him.
Even if it's semi-consensual, like... Having your parents root you on while you're, like, getting a boner.
Well, like, stopping to turn around and look at your parents for their approval as you're about to kiss someone is weird.
Like, it's weird enough when Alex posts things on Facebook about us trying to have a kid, and my aunt's like, keep trying. Like, that's telling us, hey, my Aunt Leanna, sweet old woman that she is like, keep fucking. Anyway, Santa Claus shows up, and it's the real Santa this time.
Yeah,
apparently.
Stephanie's like, Joey, I know it's you. And Joey's like, dude, I'm sitting right behind you. And Santa's like, tug my beard, little girl.
They do the Miracle on 34th Street scene. Like,
and she's like, it's real.
But like, okay, this is weird because what if she got freaked? Like, what if she got freaked out, or what if he went to like the wrong kid? He's just walking around this airport like, "Hey, little girl, tug on my beard."
Well, then he like waves his hand, and there's like little tinkling sound effects, and I didn't know how to describe it.
It sounds like piss.
I can't do it right. But then the bag of presents magically appears on the baggage carousel. Hurrah!
Yeah.
And then Santa waves his magic hand again, and the tinkling sound happens once more. And Santa disappears.
But out of nowhere, someone has a laptop computer.
It was Angry Man's laptop.
Yeah, apparently he was looking up his internet porn, like 20 years too late.
And then they
early.
look at it, and it says, Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho.
They look at his internet porn, and it says, Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho.
And they're all like, is Angry Man Santa? Could it be?
Or is he just the creep that's setting plot? Like, he just knows how to, like, program MS-DOS really well.
Well, and then they run off to go open their presents, but Stephanie looks again, and there's a message especially for her.
Yeah, it's, what is it? Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for the maps.
Thanks for the maps, Stephanie. And she's like, you're welcome, Santa. And then they all go to open their gifts, and everything is right with the world. And then it's like, Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
This is so fucking weird.
That means you're really Santa Claus.
And I want you to have the merriest Christmas ever.
Whoa, it's our Christmas present.
I don't believe this.
Thank you, Santa. Hey, where'd Santa go?
He probably went to change out of your Santa costume.
I don't think so.
You guys, come here. What do you make of this?
Look at the screen. Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho. Nah.
I just saw Santa Claus flying away.
You think?
I don't know what to think. All I know is this turned out to be a great Christmas. Let's go open the presents.
Yeah! Okay. Open the presents.
All right. Thanks for the map, Stephanie. You're welcome, Santa.
Come on, Steph. We're going to open presents and sing Christmas carols.
Here we go!
Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
I had down Danny is literally the worst.
And there are a lot to choose from. Like, when the episode began, I wanted to say DJ, but I absolutely have to go with Nick Katsopolis.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, because he encouraged the rape. Jesse, because he did the rape. Becky, because she, like, just was like, bring it on, big boy. I loved it. It turned me on. Danny, because he wanted to have his family go to Denver, flying them out on Christmas Eve for a Christmas Day family reunion. So I'm sure this happened to, like, every other branch of the Tanner family. Because I don't think any of the Tanners, like, actually lived in Denver. They were all flying out for Christmas Day. Joey for walking around an airport as Santa Claus and potentially encouraging a bunch of little girls to sit on his lap. The old man for barking at a baby. Michelle for almost killing her dad. Stephanie for being a little brat about the presents. DJ for ruining Christmas. For Michelle earlier, and then acting like a little brat about her CD player. I don't think there's
the pilot for wanting birthday cake.
The pilot for wanting birthday cake. I think the only decent person is the stewardess, who was like, "Hey, little girls, come up to first class." I think that's it. The stewardess. Stewardess was the best. Congratulations, stewardess. You were the best. Though you probably blew Jesse in the airport bathroom later, because that's what women do. Hey, this show is encouraging rape. That's a cool thing. So is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay, before we go, I got one more addition to the cuss list. I tried to do this a couple weeks ago over at Alex Granny's house, but I wasn't allowed to cuss. They've asked for an actual cussing. So Lizzie and Kat from the 90210, the Blaze podcast, which you can find at 90210blaze.tumblr.com. They've asked to be cussed out again after leaving a very nice review recently. So, here goes. By the way, before here goes, the way to be cussed out on this show by me, to be added to the cuss list, go to tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast and leave a 5-star rating, write a short review. I will cuss you out on the podcast after we see the review, because reviews are awesome and they help. So here goes, Lizzie and Kat. 90210 fucking sucks. Like Dylan, there's a guy named Dylan on that show, and it's horrible. Like, Dylan is like the worst, and then there's Brendan and Brenda, and there's no black people on the show because it's racist. And you all this week, you had like you had one of your moms on. I had my mom on first. I am the innovator of moms on podcasts. So big ol' fuck it all y'alls. And fuck the color pink. The color pink is the worst color. Though I like the color pink, but I'm going to say it's the worst color because y'alls are using it for your podcast where you sit around and you watch a TV show and you review it. Who the fuck? That idea doesn't work. Idea doesn't work. Nobody cool does it. So fuck y'all. Fuck y'all, you fucking jerks. You're fucking done. Fuck you.
I've actually never seen an episode of 90210.
Because it sucks.
Not the original one, anyway. I did watch a few episodes of, like, the newer one, but I was bored pretty quickly.
Even Alex is joining in. Suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it.
Well, no, I would like to watch it eventually. I mean, it's a cult classic. It's a classic in general, but I just haven't seen it.
If you would like to join the cuss list, like Lizzie and Kat just did, at 90210 Blaze on Twitter, 90210blaze.tumblr.com, to listen to their 90210 show, which I've listened to a bit of. It's pretty good. I like it greatly. They're good people, good gals. They interact a lot with us on Twitter. If you would like to join the cuss list, much like they just did, please, once again, subscribe, rate 5 stars, write a short review on iTunes, tinyurl.com/fullhousepodcast. If I see a review, I will cuss you out on the podcast. With that, we are out of here, and as usual, as I swallow my own saliva, we are outsourcing the outro to you, the people. I found something that I like. I asked you all on Twitter to please give us the worst, creepiest things about Santa Claus imaginable, in your opinion. I found one from this fella, or this lady, named MJ Benedict. I think it's a lady, because the Twitter handle is at Mary Day Normandy with IE, not a Y. Mary Day Normandy. Mary Day.
Well, I'm assuming it's French. I mean, Normandy's a French word.
Okay, Mary de Normandy on Twitter, or MJ Benedict. Just look up MJ Benedict, the little search thing. Thanks to you for submitting my favorite submission for the creepiest thing, in your opinion, about Santa Claus. So without any further ado, everywhere you look, there's a metaphorical chimney, if you know what I mean.
It is actually adieu if you're doing the other one, like the one that means goodbye.
Adieu.
You're lost out there.